Wednesday afternoon, about 2 o'clock. January 20, nope, June. June 21st, 2023. Wrote a book, Baseball's Top 5 Player List. Yearly leaders of every batting category. Last video, I covered home runs. Who landed in the top 5 in home runs every season from 1871 to 2022? Take a certain year, look at the top 5 home run hitters and list them, and go every year until 2022. I did that in this book. Top 5 list. Chapter 2, batting average. Do you know which player landed in the top 5 in highest batting average for a particular year from 1871 to 2022? I did the research. It was a labor of love. I found out, and I listed it all the way through in this book. Curious to find that certain players did it multiple times. Who is the number 1 player that landed in the top 5? Those in the Hall of Fame and those not in the Hall of Fame. All the baseball players who've ever played in the big leagues. The National League and the American League. From 1871 to 2022, which players landed in the top 5 in batting average the most? I have the list. Ty Cobb, 16 times, top 5. Incredible. From 1907 to 1925, he was listed with the top 5 batting averages during those years. 16 times. And he was number 1 9 times, leading the American and National League. Now, in the American League, we know that he had 12 batting titles. But did you know that he led also the National League and the American League combined 9 times, number 1? And he was 16 times in the top 5. Who was number 2? Ted Williams. How about that? 13 times, 1940 through 1960. 20-year period, 13 times. Stan Musial, number 3, 11 times, 1943 through 1962. Camp Hansen, 11 times, 1872 to 1889. 5 on the list. Tony Gwynn, 10 times, 1984 to 1997, 8 batting titles. But he led the American and National League combined. Both leagues led the National and the American League combined. He did it 5 times, number 1. How about that? We know he had 8 batting titles in the National League. Number 6, Rod Carew, 10 times, 1973 to 1983. 7 on the list, Tris Speaker, 9 times. Top 5, 1910 to 1925. Honus Wagner, 9 times, 1900 through 1909. Roger Hornsby, 9 times, 1917 to 1929. Ed Delante, 8 times, 1893, 1902. Roberto Clemente, 8 times, 1961, 1970. These are not titles. These are just how many times they landed in the top 5. The best for a particular year. Wade Boggs, 8 times, 1983 through 1991. Dan Brothers, 7 times, 1882, 1892. Henry Aaron, 7 times, 1956, 1965. Miguel Cabrera, 7 times, still playing. 2005 to 2015. Joe Jackson, Shoeless Joe, 1911 through 1920. Nap Lajoie, 7 times. 1901, 1910. Jesse Burkett, 7 times. 1895, 1901. Jesse Burkett, 7 times. George Sisler, 6 times. 1917, 1922. Willie Keeler, 6 times. 1896, 1904. Babe Ruth, 6 times. Top 5 in batting average. 1920 through 1931. Willie Mays, 6 times. 1954, 1965. Cal McVeigh, 5 times. 1871, 1877. Larry Walker, 5 times. 1997, 2002. Pete Rose, 5 times. 1968, 1981. Harry Heilman, 5 times. 1921, 1927. Paul Wainer, 5 times. 1927 through 1937 during those years. Billy Hamilton, 5 times. 1891 through 1898. Lou Gehrig, 5 times. 1927 through 1934. Eddie Collins, 5 times. 1909 to 1915. Jimmy Fox, 5 times. 1932, 1939. That's a total of 31 players landed in the top 5 in batting average 5 times or more. Of course, there are other players who did it too, but there are less than 5 times. I just list those who did it 5 times or more. With Ty Cobb, 16. Can you believe that? 16 times in the top 5. He played a total of 24 years. So some of the years he didn't land in the top 5, but he has the 12 batting titles. How about that? Ted Williams did it 13 times. Who can we say is the best baseball player of all time as far as batting average? Consistently. According to the facts and stats, you got to put Ty Cobb, Ted Williams, Stan Musial, Camp Hansen, Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, Tris Speaker, Honus Wagner, Roger Hornsby, Ed Delante, Roberto Clemente, Wade Boggs, Dan Brothers, Henry Aaron, Miguel Cabrera, Joe Jackson, Nap Lajoie, Jesse Burkett, George Sisler, Willie Keeler, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Cal McVeigh, Larry Walker, Pete Rose, Harry Heilman, Paul Wainer, Billy Hamilton, Lou Gehrig, Eddie Collins, and Jimmy Fox. These are the most prolific, is that the right word? Baseball players with batting average, cumulative career being the best. I think these 31 players are the best at compiling a batting average for their career. Now, you can list the guys number 1 through 30 as far as their career batting average. But how about these guys that I just mentioned, 31 of them, landed in the top 5 in batting average for a season, 5 times or more, with Cobb 16 times, Williams 13, Musial 11, Hansen 11, Gwynn 10, Rod Carew 10. These guys did it 10 times or more. You got Speaker, Wagner, and Hornsby 9 times. You got Delante, Clemente, Boggs 8 times. Brothers Aaron, Cabrera, Jackson, Lajoie, Burkett 7 times. Sisler, Keeler, Ruth, Mays 6 times. And then the rest of these guys 5 times or more. McVeigh, Walker, Rose, Heilman, Wainer, Hamilton, Gehrig, Collins, and Fox. All Fox. 5 times or more, top 5. And that was my book I wrote, listing the top 5. What do you think? What an accomplishment. Don't you agree? And this book I list every year. And I went to Baseball Reference. And when you see a person's name, not just being number 1 for the season, but just being in the top 5. And they do it multiple times. These are the best batting average career baseball players of all time. You gotta give it up to them and give them the love. Next video, I'm gonna do runs scored. Do the same thing, top 5. Who do you think are the most accomplished at landing in the top 5 in runs scored multiple times, 5 times or more? Because a lot of guys will land in the top 5. But if you can do it 5 times or more in your career, I got 28 ball players who did it. And we'll get into that next video. Thanks for watching this one. I'm out.